is Carla, and welcome back to the studio. And thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. So, I'm kind of going back. Hold on a second here. I'm just trying to get my phone leveled here. Make sure everything's level. Of course, my phone wants to slide down. So, my leveler is what I mean. It's sliding off my phone. Okay, just want to make sure we're kind of level here and come down just a little bit. Okay, I think we are good. A little teeny tiny bit. Okay, well, that's good. So again, welcome everybody. Welcome to another episode of Throwback Thursdays. So we are going back to the way I was normally doing Throwback Thursday. So my Throwback Thursdays, they are weekly. I do it every Thursday. This one's coming a little late on Thursday. I guess depending upon what time zone that you're in. So usually with my Throwback Thursdays, I pull out my retired Stampin' Up stash and I create two projects using whether it's just a standalone stamp set, a bundle, or even a whole suite, and I create two projects. So last month, the month of December, because I was on a mission to try and use as much of the product that I purchased between the online exclusives and the holiday mini catalog. I really wanted to try and use as much of that product before it had retired. And I will say that I did a very good job of it. I did use a majority of everything. And when I did those videos in December, I actually created three projects rather than two. And again, these were probably bundles or suites or anything that at the time we didn't know if they were going to be on the last chance list or not. So either if it was going away or staying, I still used it. So you kind of got some bonus projects and some bonus videos using current product at the time. So now I'm going back, I'm using stuff that is either retired or is about to be retired. What I am using in this episode is the Builder Blossom stamp set. This is a standalone stamp set that was in our was it July? No, September through December holiday mini catalog that just retired, and now our January to April catalog is out. Builder Blossoms. This is currently on the last chance list. So I am actually recording this. It's kind of after midnight here, Central Standard Time in Memphis. So at the time that I am filming this, I am going to post as soon as I'm done. So right now, this stamp set is on the last chance list. The regular price for it was 18. Right now, it's marked down to $10.80. I will be honest with you, when I placed a sizable order, during our pre-order time frame that demonstrators get about a month before the catalog goes live to everybody else. And this was actually one that was not really on my list. When I looked at it, I thought, well, I have a lot of other stamp sets that have flowers in it. So I really didn't give much thought into this stamp set. But unfortunately, just what always happens is that I will see somebody like Dina Rico get a hold of this stamp set and then create some really, really pretty projects. So one of the projects that I am going to be making is actually a case off of a card that she had done. I just changed it up a little bit. I used a different stamp grading because I didn't have the one that she had. I changed the color up just a little bit, and then also used a different embossing folder than she did. So um, I cased that one, and then the other one is also kind of like a case out of the sample that's in the online store for this particular stamp set. So again, this is on the last chance list. This means that once it sells out, it's gone for good. As of right now, at the recording of this, it is um, not on low inventory, and it has been discounted from $18 down to $10.80. Another thing that I will make mention of, usually I do my announcements on Fridays when I go live, which I will be doing tomorrow night. And again, if you would like to join me, normally I would go live at 7 p.m. Central, but for the month of January, I'm going to give it a try and see how it works. I am actually going to go live an hour earlier. So I'm going to go live at 6 p.m. Central. And tomorrow night, I am going to be creating 3 projects using the 12 days of Advent calendar. Is that what it's called? It's got a big name to it. So let me give you the right name. So this came out, I want to say, no, I want to say it was in November. The 12 days of crafting Advent calendar. This was something new that Stampin' Up came out with this year. Basically, when you look at the packaging, the box, it screams Christmas. As a matter of fact, let me go grab it really quick and I'll show you. Kind of like a little sneak peek of what's going to happen tomorrow night. So this is the Advent calendar. You can see that it's pretty sizable. And when I open it up, you have all these little pop out windows here, and then behind each window there is product that is exclusive to this kit. So it's product that you're never going to find in any of our paper publications, nor in with our online exclusive. So I'm going to create 3 cards using product that is in this kit. Now, when you look at the packaging, does kind of scream Christmas. However, the products that are inside of this are not Christmas. So this is perfect for creating, year-round projects. There is also a double photopolymer stamp set that goes with this. So you're actually getting 13 items with this. So this is the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar photopolymer stamp set. And there's actually like 2 sheets in here. So you have one with greetings on it, and then you have one with images. These images do coordinate with product like paper and stuff that's in this. Now, there have been a lot of demonstrators that have given a sneak peek to this. So the whole promotion with this that Stampin' Up had was these were perfect as a gift for your stamping friends. And so it is a little pricey for this kit. The regular price is $99. It is on the last chance list. However, it is not discounted. So I'm going to be working with this tomorrow night at 6 p.m. So if you would like to see what it is that I'm going to create with this, come back here to the channel and see what I got in store. Now, what I also do on my Friday night lives, I do a card drawing where you could win one of the cards I make that night. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Cards I can mail out anywhere. It's product that I can't send out. So this is what I'm going to be working with tomorrow. So if if you are free, feel free to come join us. So let me move this out of the way, and let me, again, being that it's on the last chance list, it is while supplies last. So I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek on that. Um, Paper Pumpkin, actually, the last day to subscribe for the upcoming, hold on. I do have the printout for it here. I can find it. The special delivery. This is the next kit. This is for January. The last day to subscribe to this is January 10th. Once it hits the 11th, then the subscription period is going to open up for the February kit. Along with the kit, Stampin' Up! Also brought back the coordinating add-on dies for their basically their quarterly. So for January, February, and March, these are the beautiful blooms dies. So you have dies that are going to coordinate with the kits. You do not need the dies to complete the kits. This is if you want to make some alternative projects or just use them for any of your crafting. One of the things that is going on right now, this started on January 6th. This is going to go through February 2nd. Stampin' Up! Has brought back bonus days. So for every $50 that you spend, now again, the dollar amounts that I mentioned to you, they are here for the US. So for every $50 that you spend, you're going to earn a $5 coupon. So you do need to have a Stampin' Up! Account created on the website. One thing I will mention, when you go to do that, please, please, please take notice. There are two different opt-in selections that are in when you go to create your profile. One of them is for Stampin' Rewards. Unfortunately, they're not just going to give it to you. Um, in the past, once you had earned, you had spent $150 before the tax and shipping, you earned like 10% in stamping rewards that you can use on that current order. Well, a few months ago, Stampin' Up! Changed up the Stampin' Rewards program. Now you get 10% starting at $20, in which you can then redeem those rewards in future orders. The thing is, if you do not opt in for that, unfortunately, you're going to lose out on those Stampin' Rewards. And once the order is placed, my understanding is that demonstrator support is just not going to add those Stampin' Rewards for you. So please, 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 when you do create your account, or maybe you already have, please make sure that you have clicked on that opt-in for Stampin' Rewards, because that's rewards that you have earned, and that's what you can use towards a future order, and they're good for a whole year. So you can collect them and then use them if you want to place a bigger order down the road. The other thing too, there's another opt-in. It's for contact. Now, I want you to know, when it comes to me, I do not do any communications out of my Stampin' Up! Website. I do have a monthly newsletter that I create, and there is a link for it in the description below. It's a totally different site from Stampin' Up! As a matter of fact, earlier today, I just got done putting together my newsletter for January. And so in there, I have a whole listing of all the content that I'm going to use for my videos. There's also the bonus days promotion. There's new kits that Stampin' Up! Came out with. There's also the product of the month, that there's information about that, and we do have new product that has come out. I got to check to see if I printed it out. Um, so know that if you opt in for contact, what that is going to do, um, when a new catalog comes out, we have the opportunity to, as demonstrators, to play, excuse me, excuse me, to do a bulk catalog mailing with Stampin' Up. So, meaning they will send the catalog directly to you before it goes live. If you click on the opt in to contact, that will allow me to add you to my list when I go to place my order to have catalogs mailed directly to you. Again, I don't do like any communication out of my Stampin' Up website. I do have a newsletter. And if you are interested in the newsletter, the link for it is in the description. When you click on that link, all you have to do is put in your first and last name and your email address, and then that way you're on my list. I will send you the one that I just sent out, and plus you'll receive the ones that I have in the future. So there's a lot of information that I do provide, even anything that I may be doing here at the studio. So at the moment, I don't have any in-person classes set up. However, I could change that at any time. So again, with bonus days, you do need to have a profile set up in the Stampin' on the Stampin' Up website. And also, you do need a valid email, because once you place your order, then Stampin' Up is going to email you those codes. Now, if, say, for example, if your order before shipping and tax, and after you've used Stampin' Rewards, if it's at $150, then what'll happen after you place your order, then Stampin' Up will email you 3 coupon codes. So it's basically it's a long alphanumeric number. Hold on to those so you can like copy and paste them into a Word document. Just have them all handy, because this goes to February 2nd. What'll happen? Wow, I got everything out of order here. Um, because what will happen, starting February 3rd all the way through the 28th, you'll be able to redeem those codes. So you can redeem all your codes in one order if you're placing a larger order, or you can use one, you can use two, you can use as many as you want in your orders. And again, it goes from the 3rd through the 28th. And even during the earning time frame, there is there's no limit. You can earn as many of the coupon codes as you would like. It can be on one order. It can be on multiple orders, as long as you meet that $50 threshold for that. Another thing that I do want to make mention of, we do have product of the month. For the month of December, this is the True Blue Florals Designer Series paper. And then for the month of January, and do I not have it printed out? It does not look like I got it printed out. There is a stamp set. It is called Fabulous, Fabulous something. Hold on. It is called Fabulous Sayings. So it's a standalone stamp set. It has some script. It's got some regular font words. So you got happy birthday, you're on my mind, thank you, sending love, hello, you can do anything, so much, hooray, to a fabulous friend, just because, and there are simply no words for this. So this is that Fabulous Saying stamp set is the product of the month for the month of January. December's is still available. So if you did not get the paper, you can still get the paper. If you want the stamp set, then you would have to place another $75 order. So it's a minimum of $75. That is after you take away any stamping rewards. And it's also before you would add the tax and the shipping to it. On the order form, as you're placing your order, there is a thing up at the top of the page that will let you know how far you are to where you can redeem it. Once you hit that threshold, you would have to click on that button and then actually click on the product to add it to the cart. It's not automatically going to add it. And again, the cost of the product of the month is $5, and it is limited to one per person. So I do have the links in the description so you can see what this paper looks like. You can also see what that stamp set looks like as well. Again, during my early on in my Friday night lives, I talk about a lot of the stuff that's going on. I will make sure that I have the things printed out that I need printed out so I can show you. Okay, so with that, let's go ahead and let's get started on these cards. The cards that I am making are pretty simple, um, quick to put together, and again, one is cased from from the website. You know, on when you bring this up, you'll see the picture of the card. I did change it up a little bit, the colors, the greening that I used on it. And then the other card is a case off of something that Dina Rico from the Creativity Cave had done. Okay, so let me bring in the pieces for my first card. So if you like pink, that's what this card is going to be all about. So for my card base, I have a piece of Melon Mambo. It measures 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4.25. I have a piece of Strawberry Slush. This measures 4.25 by 4.25. I have a piece of Basic White that measures 3.75 by 3.75. And then out of the Stylish Shapes set of dies, these are in our annual catalog. I have die cut the smallest circle, and my little greeting is going to be stamped on that. So now with the stamp set, there's no greetings. There's just like these watercolor look type petals in the stamp set, so no greetings. So for the greeting in this one, I'm bringing in a new stamp set that was a new online exclusive offering. This is called Unbridled Beauty. So if either you or you know somebody who loves horses, this is like an awesome set, and I can tell you that the stamps are not small at all. So you have a nice size horse image on here. There's two horse images, and then I'm going to use the Happy Day greeting that's in this to stamp on that little piece right there. Okay, so I am going to take my card base. I'm going to fold and burnish that. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. And then my piece of Strawberry Slush, what I want to do is on both of the sides, I want to tear it. Now, the piece is, when you go to tear it, you don't want, I should have made it a little bit wider. I'm going to tear like really close to the edge because I do want some of this to show on either side of my piece of Basic White here. So I'm going to make it work. But again, You can cut this at 4 1/4, so 4 1/4 this way, and then you can do like 4 3/4 this way, and then you can have a little more space to, which way you can tear. Tearing it like really close to the edge is just going to give me a little bit of this showing on either side of that basic white piece. So when I tear it towards me, it's gonna reveal like that tooth of the cardstock. So it adds a little bit of texture to my card. So again, I cut it really close because I do want, this basic white. I want the strawberry slush to show a little bit on either side. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat since this is a photopolymer stamp set. I do want to get a good stamped image. So the colors of ink that I'm going to use on this is my Strawberry Slush and my Melon Mambo. I'm going to pull in, I'm going to pull in this larger floral image and then this long petal right here. Okay, so I got my long petal, and we got the center, and then we also have the greeting. All right, so let me move this out of the way, kind of pull my happy day out of here. Okay, and we will set that aside. All right, and then let's get some blocks here. So got my happy day, and then we got this center floral image here. Okay, and then we have our petal. All right. Okay, so my little itty bitty circle, I'm going to ink up my happy day. And that's just going to fit right here in the center. There we go. So there's our happy day. All right, I got my Stampin' Scrub right here. I'm going to clean my stamps right away, so then that way it minimizes the staining when you use your dark pink inks. All right, so now my 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 inch piece of basic white. I'm going to take this center floral image here, ink that up. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this right in the middle, like so. Okay, do a quick scrub. All right, and then we're going to bring in our Strawberry Slush ink. Now to get a really nice image, so this stamp set is a distinctive stamp set. Does it even say it on here? It does not say it on here, but it is. So when you stamp it, you're going to have some texture in your stamped image. So to get a really nice stamped image with this set, with using this set, you do not want your ink pads to be very inky because you will not see that detail. So if it's too inky, you can use the back of a spoon. So this is from like a 3-pack inexpensive that I got from Walmart. Just press that ink into the ink pad, or if it's extremely inky, what I've done, I've also used the paper towel to kind of soak up a little bit of the ink, and then use the spoon to kind of evenly distribute the ink. When you get a new ink pad, they are going to be very inky, so you're definitely going to have a well inked ink pad, but when it's too inky, your images aren't going to come out all that well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this part here that's not as wide as the other end, I'm going to stamp that where it's going to be right here in the middle, because I do want to have some white space all around my flower. So I have stamped that one. I'm going to turn it and I'll stamp it again like so. And just keep on turning it. Stamp it again. And again. So now I can come in and I can kind of fill this in. So I'm going to stamp this petal twice in between the 4 that I just stamped. And it's going to overlap a little bit. And what's nice about this set, it's like all the different color combinations that you can use, and when you overlap, depending on the colors that you use, you can end up creating a different color. Like say, for example, if you did if you did a pink and a blue, you would end up with a purple color. Or if you do blue next to yellow, you would end up with green. So there's a lot of different possibilities of color combinations that you can do with this set. And again, in the beginning, it was not a set that was really on my radar to get. But again, I mean, there's not a whole lot of projects that I've seen that's been done with this. But yeah, once I had saw the projects that Dina had done with this stamp set, yeah, it pretty much kind of sold me to where, okay, I'll get it. So it was kind of like the last item that was in that catalog that I ended up purchasing. So this is the first time that I'm actually using this stamp set. But I'm using it while it's still available. And again, it is discounted in the online store at the moment, and it's not on low inventory. So there we go. There's the center of our flower. Now I will mention, and especially with the next card that I end up doing, usually if you use a darker color, be mindful when you go to stamp these petals and using a lighter color ink, because your stamp may pick up the darker color that you've put down already in the middle, and you will transfer it into your ink pad. So on my next card, I'm doing a blue and a purple. And so the blue will end up transferring into the purple ink if I don't if I don't stamp off or clean my stamp before I go and I stamp it again. But I'll show you when we get to that card. Okay, so there is our finished stamped image. So now I am going to take my stamp and seal. I'm going to add some to the back here. I don't know what's up with this refill in this thing, but it's been acting a little wonky. Okay, now I am going to take this and I'm going to center this on my strawberry slush piece. Again, I want the straight edge on the top and the bottom, and then the torn edge on the left and right. Okay, then I'm going to take some liquid glue for this part, because I want to have a little bit of that wiggle room to position my piece of cardstock. So it's going to sit on my card like this. So it's going to kind of be from bottom to top, and then it's going to be centered, and you'll see some of that Melon Mambo on either side. And this is the Tombow multi-purpose glue that we sell in our catalog. I have it in a fine tip glue bottle because this glue does have a latex in it, so you don't need much, and it's definitely going to hold your stuff together. Okay, I'll just press that down. Okay, then we're going to take our greeting, our little greeting piece, and we are going to pop that up. So I'm going to bring in my dimensionals and place that right in the center. And then we'll put this right here in the center and make it straight. Okay, so press that down. Then for the embellishments that I'm going to use on this, this is the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. These are in our annual catalog. So you have Strawberry Slush, Pretty in Pink, and then you have this clear. And all of them kind of have like these little gold flecks in them. So very pretty. And being that they're transparent. If you put them over like a stamped image or on designer series paper, you can kind of see you can kind of see through them. So pretty cool. We have ones that are similar to this as well that are in purples. And that is also in our annual catalog. All right, so I'm going to bring in my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to use the Strawberry Slush one. So there's two different sizes. Now with these, they kind of like have the flat facets to them. So there's not a lot of height to them. So you just need like maybe a piece of cardstock or something to put over your card if you're going to mail it. So then that way, when the envelope goes through that postal machine, it's not going to end up tearing your embellishments through your envelope. I use postcards actually. Stampin' Up has some postcards that, since I don't really use them, to mail anything out, I just use them. That kind of protects the top of my card. All right, so I'm going to place another one right there. And there we go. There is our first card. So a lot of pink, very simple. The stamping is simple as well. So very pretty. Again, the greeting happy day comes from the Unbridled Beauty stamp set. That is an online exclusive item that came out just recently. Okay, so now uh, let me bring in everything for our next card. So this card is the one that I did case off of Dina. I changed it up a little bit. Layout's the same, but just changed it up a little bit and kind of made it my own. Okay, so my card base, this is Fresh Freesia. It measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have another piece of Fresh Freesia that measures 5.25 by 4. And ahead of time, I had embossed it using the Beautiful Pattern embossing folder. This is part of the Brushed with Beauty suite. Also, for my greeting, I am using a stamp set called Words of Beauty that is also with the Brushed with Beauty Sweet Collection. So on this one, this is going to be a birthday card. So I'm going to use It's Your Birthday on this one. Okay, then I have a piece of Night of Navy. This measures 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. I have a piece of Basic White that measures 4 by 3. And then I have a scrap piece of basic white that I am going to stamp my flower on here, and then we're going to fussy cut it. Okay, so I'm going to start off. I'm going to fold and burnish my card base. And let's get my bone folder here. Okay, and then I'm going to adhere my embossed fresh Freesia piece right onto my card base. It's a nice subtle pattern. Okay, and I'm going to place that on there like so, and my card is a little off. Which I lose things very easily on this desk. Okay. All right, so I'm going to set that aside along with my Night of Navy piece. And now we're going to do some stamping. So let me bring in my Pierce mat again. And we're going to bring in that piece too. For this one, I am going to use this centerpiece and then these set of 3 petals, and then also this smaller one right here. Okay, so we need that. And we need the smaller one. And then we need that one. Okay, so let's get some blocks for that one. And our smaller petals. So this is going to go this way. Okay, so let me also bring in a piece of scrap paper. We'll kind of be stamping. Ooh, got a lot of scrap paper in here. Let me just find a piece that's somewhat clean. Oh, nope, that's got ink all over it. Okay, this one will work. Oh, it's feeling a little warm in here. Let me turn my fan on really quick, guys. So at the moment, we've had a few days where our temperatures have been fairly warm, warmer than what it should be for January. We do have some rain coming through now, and then tomorrow, more into tomorrow night, and overnight into Saturday, we're supposed to have a line of thunderstorms come through, and then that's where our temperatures are supposed to drop. So it is a little warm in here at the moment, and I did not turn my air conditioner back on. All right, so let me take my scrap paper, put that down. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use Night of Navy and my Bubble Bath and Fresh Freesia. So when she did her card, she did use Bubble Bath and Fresh Freesia, but she had used black, and I'm going to use the blue. All right, so I am going to take this flower center here. I'm going to stamp it in my Night of Navy ink. So ink this up. Now I'm going to stamp this kind of over a little bit. That's very inky. I'm going to stamp this over towards, kind of like in the center, but over more towards the right. Okay. And then on this little piece here, I want to stamp it again. Stamp that right in the middle. Okay, we'll set that aside. And I'm going to clean this stamp. Now for this ink, when I go to stamp my layers of my fresh freesia and my bubble bath on it, I do need to clean the stamp because the stamp is going to pick up that blue. So I don't want to put that blue into my other ink pads. So let's close that up. We'll use it again when we do our greeting part. All right, so then I'm going to bring in my larger piece here, and I'm going to use the 3 petals. I'm going to do that in bubble bath. Again, to get a really good stamped image, you don't want your ink pad to be very inky. Okay, now you see how you got these areas right here. So the base of my petals, I'm going to put that down right here, just above. There's that circle in the middle. Well, I want to place my petals just above that. Okay, now I have picked up some of that blue ink right there. So I am going to just stamp it down. You can see that I pulled that up. Just kind of twist my stamp just to get some of that, to get that blue off of there. So I'm not putting it back into my ink pad. And then I'm going to come in, do another set. And some of these are going to overlap. Again, kind of wipe that off. And so bubble bath is a very subtle light pink. And let's see. And then we're going to stamp it one more time. Like so. Okay, so let me kind of wipe that off. All right, and I'll put that aside. So I'm done with my bubble bath. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my fresh Freesia ink. And I'll set that aside for a moment. Bring this in. I'm going to get my smaller petal. Ink up my fresh Freesia. Okay, that's good. And again, I'm going to stamp it in the same way. And again, because it picks up the blue, I do want to kind of wipe it off. Don't want to put it back into my ink pad. Okay, come in. So this flower will have 5 petals to it. And this is the one that we will fussy cut. Unfortunately, there's no dies to this. The other option, if you wanted to mass produce some cards using this stamp set, you can do all your stamping, and if you have an electronic cutter like a Brother Scan and Cut or a Cricut, you can scan your sheet in and have your machine actually cut them all out. Unless you're somebody that you just really like fussy cutting, I'm not one of them. Okay, so I've kind of wiped that off. We don't have the blue ink on there. So here's our little flower that will fussy cut that in a moment. Okay, so we'll put that aside. Now I want to bring in that greeting from my Words of Beauty. So I want It's Your Birthday, and it does come with a coordinating set of dies. Now, when you order the bundle, this is our new packaging. When you order the bundle, they do come in their own plastic sleeves, but what's nice is that because it's the same size, I can take the stamp set and the set of dies and I can put it into one envelope, and then I have an extra envelope that I can use for something else. Okay, we want It's Your Birthday. Okay, let me get my block. I'm gonna make it straight. Okay, so I want to bring in this piece here. And I want my Night of Navy ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink up my greeting. And then I'm going to stamp off. And then stamp it down. Of course, I'm going to start stamping crooked. Okay. Let's get that out of the way. Alright, and now I want to add a little bit more to this, so I'm going to do some spritzing. So I'm going to open up this paper. Of course, it's scrap paper. I used it for other cards that I had made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my dark Night of Navy Stampin' Blend. And I have my brush tip here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of tap my marker. And I'm going to add some of this spritzing to it. Now, with our regular Stampin' Right markers, you can take and flick the tip in the cap. I don't advise that with these because the tips they can fray very, very easily. So just by tapping that marker, if it's inky enough, then you will definitely get some really nice splatters from it. Okay, so there is that. And we are going to take this, we're going to adhere it to our Night of Navy piece. And there's just going to be a little bit of a border of that Night of Navy. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to adhere this down. My cellophane wants to kind of come off the roller here. Okay, and then this is going to go on the center of my card like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my scissors, and it's not too bad cutting this out. I'm just going to leave like a small white border as I cut. And again, if fussy cutting is not your thing, it's definitely not my thing. I don't find anything relaxing about it. And again, if you want to mass produce, I highly recommend an electronic cutter. So any of your stamp sets that have, you know, kind of like a solid line to it, you can scan it into the machine and the machine will cut them out. So you can have like a whole sheet of cardstock where you stamp a bunch of these, you know, not right on top of each other, but you can stamp a bunch and then just put it on your sticky mat, run it through the machine, it'll scan it, and then it'll cut them all out in no time. I love that machine. I mean, the main reason I got it was for things like this, to cut out those stamped images that didn't have any dies to them. But there's like so much more that you can do with it. I've actually like die cut vinyl out of it, like adhesive type vinyl to put. I made glittered ornaments where I did everybody's name. I chose a really nice font and then cut it all out. So there's different things you can do with an electronic cutter. That's pretty cool. All right, so there is our flower. And then I am going to kind of curl and fold up these petals. Kind of add a little bit of dimension to this. Okay, and then I'm going to turn that over. I'm going to add 2 dimensionals to the back. Like so. And then we'll place this right over this flower right here. So you know what I didn't do on that? I forgot a part. Let's bring in that fresh freesia again. I needed to add the fresh freesia around that. So let me bring in my paper again and the pierce mat. Okay. Whoops, I want to clean that. And then one more. Whoops, I didn't clean that, did I? Okay, so there we go. You wanted to add those petals to the center of that flower as well. Okay, so now we can get this out of the way. And we'll take our flower and we'll add that right over the top like so. Now I'm going to bring in my Wink of Stella, and I'm only going to add my Wink of Stella. I'm just going to scribble a little bit of it on the fresh freesia part. I want to try to avoid doing anything with that Night of Navy, because if I add this to it, it is going to smear that blue ink right into my petal. So I'm going to kind of avoid adding that on the Night of Navy. Okay, so now for this one, we're going to add some embellishments. And for this one, I'm going to use the 2024 to 2026 in color flat pearls. The colors in here are Peach Pie, Pretty in Pink, Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, and Summer Splash. So even though I don't have any Petunia Pop on here, Petunia Pop kind of falls into, the same color category here. And so there are 3 different sizes. You got a large, medium, and small. So I'm going to add my larger one right here in the center of my flower. And then these 2 I will add right over here like so. Okay, so there is our second card using the Builder Blossom stamp set. So there is my cased version of the card that Dina had made. Again, she had, for her background piece here, her embossed piece, and her card base, she used Bubble Bath. She used a different embossing folder for this piece here. Her border piece, she used the same colors, except I used Night of Navy. She used black. And in the greeting that she used, I didn't have that, so I just substituted it with something else that I had. So there is my card. I really love the combination of the Fresh Freesia and the Night of Navy. Okay, so let me bring in the first card that we did. So here's our case from what's in the online store under, when you look up this particular stamp set, I just used a different color combination on it. So Melon Mambo, Strawberry Slush, and of course we got our white on there. Love how that came out. And again, that happy day came from the bridal Unbridled Beauty stamp set. And then for this one, the greeting came from the Words of Beauty stamp set. Both stamp sets, again, are still available in the online store. So there are my two cards using the Builder Blossom stamp set that right now it is on the last chance list. It is discounted. It was it was marked down to like 1080. Of course, I went on to something else and I don't see it. Yeah. So stamp set was regularly $18. It is now marked down to $10.80. It's not showing that it's on low inventory. So if you kind of overlook the stamp set, like kind of like how I did, thinking, yeah, I got a lot of other flowers. If you like the projects, again, it's still available and it is discounted. If you like the projects I made, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you also, if you haven't already done so, check out some of the other videos that I have. I have like 328 or 329 videos, including this one. It features a lot of my Friday night lives. Sometimes I did Saturday night lives. It's got my paper pumpkin. There's a lot of content that's out there. Check it out. And if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Hit the little notification bell. It'll let you know when I post another pre-recorded video or when I go live. Um, again, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Central, I'll be right back here in the studio and I will be featuring the 12 days of crafting advent calendar. So I'm going to be creating 3 projects using the contents out of that calendar. We have a lovely bunch of people that are in the chat box. Everyone's friendly, and we have some laughs, and we just have a whole lot of fun. And then again, I do a card drawing. For those who would like to be part of it, I do a wheel of names, and you can win one of the projects that I make in that video. So again, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Throwback Thursday. And again, if you would like to receive my newsletter, I do have the link for that in the description. There's also 2 links if you want to see what the product of the month is for both December and for January. And with that, wherever you may be, stay warm or stay cool, stay safe, and stay blessed. And I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.